Hey, let's rewind. August 26th of 2024 was the worst day of my entire life. I lost my significant other, my soulmate, my boyfriend of almost a decade. I never expected the year of 2024 to turn it out the way it has. It forced me to reflect on lessons I never asked for or moments I didn't expect. It's been a mix of everything good and everything bad and everything in between. But I learned that grief and gratitude can coexist. It's strange but magical how a year can break you and build you back up all at once. I've seen sides of myself I didn't know were there, some I'm proud of, and some I'm still trying to figure out. But I'm still here, and maybe that's enough. Fast forward to April of 2025, 8 months into my grief journey. I was operating in autopilot. I was in a place of pure survival mode, and everything just kind of built up inside, and I just exploded. I was at my most vulnerable point, and you'd think it'd be the previous months where it was supposed to be our 10-year anniversary, or the month he was supposed to turn 33, or celebrating the new year, Christmas Day, my birthday. But nope, it was April. With all the love and support from my friends and family, I still felt so alone until I started reading. Books felt like these trusted companions that they understood me better than anyone in my inner circle, but I'm not diminishing the value of the people in my life. I couldn't have navigated my grief without them. It's just that books are so different. Writers are healers, and it's as if they went through the same path and haunted by the same fears, chained by the same demons, and it just made me feel less isolated in my grief. And through their words, they possess this power to heal and enlighten both the mind and the heart. So the only people who can really see the whole picture is if they step outside the frame. And I've read every book about grief, every book about self-help, self-transformation, spiritual awakenings, mediums and signs and memoirs. And then I picked up this book, The Artist's Way by Julie Cameron, in hopes that this creative process will start to loosen the heaviness of my grief, but also to make space to remember my partner's light that illuminated my life instead of lingering on the darkness of loss. So it seemed like the perfect combo: grief healing and art healing. Starting The Artist's Way made me step outside the frame and see the whole picture. And that picture starts with my artist story. First of all, I didn't even introduce myself. Hi guys, my name is Miljorie. You guys can call me Enjoy. I've been on and off YouTube for quite a while now. You probably know me as a DIYer, a bullet journaler, or a most recent Animal Crossing decorator. All the avenues of creativity, but what I also call hyperfixation. I've always been a creative person ever since I was a child. I even won the senior superlative of most artistic in my high school. I was just known as the artist that had so much talent. Moving forward with life, I wanted to pursue something artistic but also stable. So I went to college and majored in architecture, and I tried to make it the most artistic and creative and most enjoyable experience. I do not regret it, because if it wasn't for architecture, I wouldn't have met the love of my life. Having gone through and achieved all those milestones, graduating top of my class and awarded the highest honor, I craved more. I craved more change, and maybe because my 30th birthday is coming up, and maybe this is my midlife crisis or identity crisis or what have you. Over the past year, carrying the weight of my grief, I've come to realize that life is just so incredibly brief. It's taught me to seize the moment and live life to the fullest. There are countless doors and opportunities waiting to be opened and explored, and one of those doors was The Artist's Way. And I've had this book in my shelf for the past couple years. I got it as a gift from my boyfriend, but I was just so afraid to start, just like I was afraid to start my own art business, my Etsy shop. I was just so afraid to fail without even starting. But nothing happens unless you make it happen, and nothing grows if there's no rain. And the only way to bloom is if you take the time to water yourself. I think that's why April was just so emotionally and physically and now metaphorically telling me that you have to weather the storms, you have to trust the process, you have to embrace the discomfort. The reality is that life is full of storms that can take any form, and they're unpredictable and they're overwhelming, but they're also necessary for the phase of growth. By embracing the storms and learning from them, we are able to emerge stronger and more capable of appreciating what blooms along the way. Which leads me to The Artist's Way. What is it, and why does everyone keep talking about it? So, The Artist's Way is a creative and spiritual path to discovery and rediscovery of your creative self. It is a time-tested book that is a process to creatively get unstuck. It's a course that runs for 12 weeks of reading, writing, and various exercises or tasks. While the book is geared toward artists, it goes far beyond painters and writers. The principles are universal, making it a valuable resource for anyone looking to reignite their passion or break through mental barriers. There is one specific principle that I resonated with, and it is being given this gift of creativity from the universe, and the gift back to the universe is to use that creativity. Which leads me to a touchy subject. The book has a very spiritual tone. Cameron encourages readers to connect with a higher power, whatever that means to you, God, Goddess, the universe, your inner wisdom, or your inner artist. This connection is framed as essential for creativity, fostering trust in the process and confidence in one's abilities. It's more of a sense of belief, a reminder of your own faith and own thoughts of your creativity to be sacred, which is one of the aspects of being an artist. I firmly believe that creativity is an innate gift that we all possess, and it's part of our nature to use that creativity. The book strives to wrestle our creativity outside of our own ego and turn it over to a higher power. For me, it was the universe. I can say that comfortably because I'm comfortable with my own spirituality. I've come a long way ever since I started my grief journey. Such a personal experience. It requires dedication and consistency, but It does not demand perfection. The cornerstones or pillars of the Artist Way are morning pages and artist dates. Each week you do 3 things. You read, you write, and you execute. You read all the chapters weekly. Each week of the program focuses on a specific aspect of creative recovery. You write your morning pages every day, as well as writing exercises, and you take yourself on an artist date in hopes to create some space for your creativity to blossom. But most importantly, that I don't think everyone emphasizes is trust. Trust the process. If you've been wanting to start the Artist Way, I highly suggest evaluating yourself if it's right for you by writing goals. My goals were show up and do my best and take care of myself gently, have fun with art and play and my creativity again, make space for my grief as well as my art, and maybe intertwine them together. But most importantly, keeping promises to myself. It was thanks to Julia Cameron's creativity contract in the beginning, where you write yourself a contract and sign it. Signing the contract was an essential step of embarking the start of this art healing journey. The contract covers 2 parts. The first is to commit to the 12 weeks and doing the work, but the second part of the contract is, in order to do the work, you have to see it through, all of it, not just some of it, but all of it. It might raise some emotional issues, it might raise some past traumas, thoughts, breakthroughs, but ultimately the biggest takeaway is to really take care of yourself. One of the most significant promises I told myself was to fall in love with life again. I'm both grateful and proud of myself of where I am today, and I'm excited for where I'm going. Within my sense of loss was an opportunity to be found. With the sense of discomfort and uncertainty was also a chance for me to see transformation and redirection. I'm allowing to feel all these emotions and express them openly. I know it's not okay to be okay. I know it's okay to not have all the answers, to take one step at a time, and just to be gentle with myself. I'm finding new ways to navigate my grief and move forward with hope, healing, and courage. Most healing and therapeutic outlet has been journaling, which leads me to the morning pages. So I've been journaling extensively in my grief journey. I've probably filled up like 3 A5 journals. It was a form of therapy, and I was just trying to understand this unknown, scary territory. And the morning pages were the same yet very different. They're simple yet surprisingly very powerful. So the morning pages are 3 pages of longhand stream of consciousness writing. I wasn't used to journaling mindless writing of brain dump. I was used to journaling at my highest emotional state, crying my eyeballs out, and just journaling for hours. It did take a while to get used to having to wake up 30 minutes earlier than my alarm and writing as soon as I wake up. If you are new to journaling, I do suggest reading James Clear Atomic Habits. Start with tiny habits. I know when I first started journaling, I had a 5-minute journal, so I would just write my affirmations, what I'm grateful for, and what I can do better, and all it took was just 5 minutes. Use habit stacking. Pair a new habit with an existing habit. What I did was I journaled and then I meditated right after. Make it easy by simplifying your habits and preparing them in advance. What I did was I would ask a question at night and hopefully find an answer in the morning of my morning pages. Design your environment. Shape your surroundings for that new habit. What I did was to make it easier to journal was to put it right on my nightstand or right on my desk. That makes it so obvious that I have to do it. The idea of morning pages is to clear your mind of the lingering doubts, the worries, your to-do list, whatever is weighing you down, and they help you access your subconscious by quieting the voices in your head so that your creative voice can come through all the noise and that they give you clarity. The goal isn't to produce any polished or profound conclusions. It's to really clutter your mind from the doubts and distractions that are going inside in your head all the time. There's no topics, you just write. But the only rule is to do it as soon as you wake up. Where is your mind going as soon as you open your eyes? For me, I found myself problem solving on the page, working through these problems. I first noticed this and I was like, am I even supposed to problem solve? Am I gonna find a solution? Will I find a solution? I found myself finding inspiration. Occasionally, some ideas would spark and a light bulb will appear. It would just kind of just happen with the flow of words. It's thanks to morning pages that I finally found the idea to content create again. I found myself being in the present moment. Writing takes a lot of presence and sitting with uncomfortable thoughts and emotions and watching them pass. And it's very much like meditating. It's the mindfulness technique that involves observing thoughts and emotions as fleeting as clouds passing in the sky. And I found myself keep going. As I write each morning, I gave myself permission to take an emotional journey. I let my unconscious loose on the page and just write what I wanted to write. Overall, I found morning pages to be a transformational practice that I really enjoyed the process, and I plan on doing the morning pages, keep going beyond the 12 weeks of this course. While the morning pages get stuff out of your head, the artist date gets stuff into your head. The artist dates involve scheduling quality time just for yourself to engage in fun, nurturing, and inspiring activities. The idea is to refill your creative well by allowing yourself to explore and indulge on whatever creative impulses and curiosities you have. You're both gathering inspiration and learning from your inner artists on what they desire in hopes to inspire creative breakthroughs. And the only rule is to do this alone and make it fun. They don't have to be complicated or elaborate, or they don't even have to cost anything. It might be a physical activity, it might be a mental activity, it might be a creative activity, or you can just mix all those three things up. You carve at least 1 to 2 hours of being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Let go of the outside perspective of somebody's watching you and letting go of, as Dochi would say, your anxiety. I treated my artist dates to explore and get outside of the house for once and just have fun with play again. Sometimes I even discovered an artist date idea in my morning pages. From the very first artist date, I realized a moment of synchronicity, that I've been doing this all along. It took a self-help book from the 90s to tell me to take myself out on an artist date, realizing that I've been prioritizing myself from the very beginning. I'm in a much better place of groundedness and comfortable and confident in my solitude. It was liberating to realize this the first week of the 12-week program. While you do these 2 activities during the whole program, you also do weekly readings and exercises. Week by week, there are different chapters associated with a specific theme for the week, such as unlocking your creative potential or overcoming your artistic blocks, nurturing your spiritual connection, and so many more. At the end of each chapter, there are a list of various tasks. They include things like blurring out your greatest fears and your doubts. Some are image documenting, so gathering imagery, and there's a lot of time traveling and so many more. There were definitely some tasks that I gravitated towards too, but there was definitely some that I tried to avoid. There is no rule to doing all of them. If you do all of them, that's great, and if you were able to do just one, then that's enough. By the end of each week, you do a weekly check-in. How many days did you do morning pages? Did you go on an artist date? Did you experience any synchronicity in the week? And were there any issues significant to your recovery? My favorite part was talking about synchronicity. Synchronicity is not a new concept for me. It's thanks to Laura Lynn Jackson's books, The Light Between Us and Signs. She made me such a big believer on synchronicity. Some would say I am ascribing meaning where there is none, finding comfort in seeing signs in random occurrences, and calling blind luck an intuitive hit. basically calling me crazy and everything I say is woo-woo. Objectively, they would be right. I am interpreting events based on my subjective experiences, but I'm choosing to believe, and I think life is so much better having it. I truly believe that the artist's way has come to my life at the right time. And speaking of time, I'm actually filming this during my rest weeks. In order to make this process more sustainable, I took breaks just so that I could really digest and take rest. I just finished week 6, so I'm halfway through the course. I do want to keep my momentum flowing, so I do plan on doing a whole series of my 12-week progress. I want to include my whole process, the tasks I did, the breakthroughs I wrote, the artist dates I went on. I want to hold myself accountable by sharing and documenting myself online. I was inspired by watching Dochi's Artist's Way journey here on YouTube. She was just so raw and authentic, and I think that was her biggest and greatest attribute, her authenticity, how she is truly an artist by honing herself into her own craft. It was thanks to her dedication and consistency that she paved her way into winning Rap Album of the Year of the 2025 Grammys. Watching her videos here on YouTube made me think it'd be great to look back at this creative journey, time travel, and decide if I want to redo The Artist's Way in the future. Overall, here are my tips. Keep an open mind, but be true to yourself. Adapt the program to fit your needs. Treat it as a flexible tool for your personal growth. Emphasize progression over perfection. Trust the process and embrace the journey. So ultimately, the artist's way is a practice of remembrance, a return to the truth that creativity is not something that we must earn, but it's something that we are and we already have. If you made it this far into the video, I applaud you. This has got to be the longest video of me just yapping, but I did try to split up into different sections, and I do have timestamps if you're interested in a specific topic. For anyone who's felt an inner tug to create more, I couldn't recommend this book enough. I'm only halfway through the course, but I can confidently say that I've seen a huge difference both in my grief healing and my art healing. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know if you are also doing the artist's way, have completed it, or redoing it for the 10th time. Let me know. And remember, make life enjoyable. Bye!